It was one of those weeks where everything felt like it was collapsing at once. Back in university, I had taken on a dual degree, which meant overloading my schedule every single semester. 6 courses, endless assignments, constant exams. I was drowning in work. On top of that, I was also doing an internship. Sleep was a luxury I barely had time for. That Wednesday was especially brutal. I had already attended 3 classes and finished a long shift at my internship. The worst part? I had 2 major exams the very next day. There was no choice. I had to study, no matter how exhausted I was. My dorm wasn't an option. My suite mates were loud, unpredictable, and impossible to focus around. So I went to the only place that ever felt quiet at night, the campus library. It stayed open until midnight. When I arrived around 9 p.m., the building was still alive with students, pages flipping, keyboards clicking, low murmurs echoing between shelves. But I knew how it went. By 10 o'clock, the place would start to empty out. I found a secluded table tucked between 2 tall bookshelves. It was the perfect spot, hidden, quiet, isolated from distractions. Or so I thought. By 11 p.m., the library had become eerily silent. Most of the students had already left. The air felt heavier, the silence deeper, almost unnatural. That's when I noticed him. A man, older than most students, probably in his late 20s, walked into my section. There were dozens of empty tables around, but for some reason, he chose mine. He sat diagonally across from me. As I looked up, he met my eyes and smiled. Not a friendly smile. Something about it felt wrong. I quickly looked back down at my laptop, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling crawling up my spine. But deep down, I already knew. Something wasn't right. I tried to focus on my laptop, forcing my eyes to stay on the slides in front of me. But I could feel it. That man was watching me. A few seconds later, he spoke. "Excuse me." His voice was calm, too calm. I looked up, forcing a polite expression. "Yeah? Are you taking Economics 204 by any chance?" Something about the question felt rehearsed. Still, I shook my head. "No, sorry." That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. He leaned back slightly, smiling again. "Ah, I asked because my professor is insane. He gives pop quizzes every single day." I gave a small, awkward laugh. "Wow, that really sucks." I immediately looked back down, hoping he'd take the hint. But now my concentration was completely gone. I could feel his presence like a shadow hanging over me. After a few seconds of silence, I made the mistake of looking up again. He was already staring at me, smiling, not blinking. My stomach tightened. I quickly looked away, my fingers freezing over the keyboard. Then he asked, "What's your name?" For a split second, I hesitated, then instinct kicked in. "Chelsea," I said. It wasn't my real name. His smile widened. "You have really beautiful blue eyes, Chelsea." A cold chill ran down my spine. That was it. He wasn't here to study. He was watching me, studying me. I decided to test him. "Oh yeah?" I said, casually. "What's your professor's name?" He paused, just for a second, but it was enough. "Professor Davis," he replied. "First name?"
Another pause. Then he shook his head. "I don't remember." That confirmed it. Something was very wrong. I quickly turned back to my laptop, my heart starting to pound. I opened a browser and searched for any professor with the last name Davis at my university. Only one result came up: a calculus professor with no recent activity. My hands started to feel cold. I slowly closed my laptop. I didn't want to panic, not yet, but I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't stay there any longer.
I took a slow breath, trying not to alert him. Then I stood up. I could feel his eyes burning into me as I walked away from the table. Every step felt heavier than the last. Don't look back. Don't run. Just act normal. I made my way toward the front entrance where the security guard was stationed. The quiet hum of the nearly empty library made everything feel louder. My footsteps, my breathing, even my heartbeat. When I reached the desk, I leaned in slightly and spoke in a low voice. "Hey, that guy over there is making me really uncomfortable. I don't think he's a student." The security guard didn't hesitate. He nodded and immediately walked with me back toward the table. The man was still there, still sitting, still watching. The security guard approached him calmly. "Can I see your student ID, please?" For the first time, the man's expression changed. He reached into his wallet, paused, then checked his pockets, then his other pocket. "I think I left it in my dorm," he said. The guard crossed his arms slightly. "Which dorm building?" Another pause, a longer one. The man looked confused now, like he was searching for an answer that didn't exist. "I honestly don't remember," he muttered. That was it. The guard's tone changed immediately. "All right, you're going to have to come with me." The man stood up slowly, and for a brief second, he looked at me. That same smile, but this time it felt darker, colder, almost like a warning. The security guard escorted him out of the library. I stood there frozen for a moment, my hands trembling slightly. A few minutes later, the guard came back. "You should be careful walking back to your dorm tonight," he said. I nodded. "Thank you." I returned to my seat, but everything had changed. The silence felt heavier now. The shadows between the bookshelves felt deeper. I tried to study, but my mind kept replaying his face, his smile, the way he looked at me. By the time midnight came, I had barely gotten anything done. Still, I packed up my things. I just wanted to get back to my dorm. I just wanted to feel safe again. But I had no idea. The worst part of the night was still waiting for me outside. I stepped outside the library, the cold night air hitting my face. The campus was almost completely deserted. No voices, no movement, just silence. It was the kind of silence that makes you feel like you're being watched. I adjusted my backpack and started walking toward my dorm. My footsteps echoed softly against the concrete path. At first, everything seemed normal. Then, step. A sound behind me. I froze. Slowly, I turned around. Nothing. No one was there. I told myself it was nothing, just my imagination, maybe an echo. So I kept walking, a little faster this time. Then it happened again. Step. Clearer. Closer. This time, I didn't stop. My heart started pounding as a terrible realization hit me.
Someone was behind me. I broke into a run. My backpack bounced heavily against my back, slowing me down. My breathing became uneven, panicked. And then I heard it, running, fast, right behind me. I turned my head just enough to look, and my blood ran cold. It was him, the man from the library, sprinting straight at me. I screamed at the top of my lungs, but it only lasted a second before he tackled me to the ground. The impact knocked the air out of my lungs. His hand immediately covered my mouth. "Shut up, or I'll kill you," he hissed. My body went numb with fear. This was it. I was going to die. I tried to scream again, but it came out muffled under his hand. He tightened his grip and started dragging me across the ground, away from the walkway, away from any chance of being seen, toward the woods. I struggled with everything I had. Then, somehow, for just 1 second, I managed to pull his hand away from my mouth, and I screamed, louder than I ever had in my life. It echoed through the empty campus. For a moment, everything froze. Then, "Hey, stop!" 2 voices, 2 guys came running toward us. The man instantly let go of me. Without a word, he turned and sprinted into the darkness of the woods, gone just like that. I lay there on the ground, shaking uncontrollably. My ears were ringing, my vision blurred. The 2 guys rushed over to me, asking if I was okay, but I couldn't process anything they were saying. Everything felt distant, muted. Then it hit me, all at once. I broke down, crying uncontrollably. They called campus police. I did my best to explain what happened, my voice trembling the entire time. We returned to the library to speak with the security guard. He confirmed everything. And, luckily, the cameras had captured his face clearly. Within hours, his photo was sent out across campus. Emails, alerts, everything. And that same night, they found him at a dive bar not far from campus. He was arrested. But even after that, I was never the same, because I couldn't stop thinking about one thing. If I hadn't screamed, if those 2 guys hadn't been there, I probably wouldn't be here telling this story.